In April 2025, I rode 444 miles over 5 days while completing the Grand Illinois Trail, an epic loop through northern Illinois, taking bikers on a variety of terrains while showcasing many of the best features that Illinois has to offer. My start and end point was at my home in Oak Park, Illinois. On day one of the journey, I deviated from the official route by getting to Joliet via the Centennial Trail, a trail that begins southwest of the city of Chicago and cuts a diagonal path to Joliet. Once in Joliet, I caught up with the official route as I began the westward ride along the I&M Canal Trail. However, the official Grand Illinois Trail route takes riders from downtown Chicago south along the Lakefront Trail to the Burnham Greenway, and the Thorn Creek Trail brings riders to the Old Plank Road Trail, which travels 22 miles directly west to Joliet. In this video, I'm returning to the Grand Illinois Trail in order to complete the official Grand Illinois Trail route from the Chicago to Joliet. I'm back on the Grand Illinois Trail. I'm in downtown Chicago with the world famous Bean, and I'm going to Joliet via the official route on the Lakefront Path and Old Plank Road Trail. The Chicago Lakefront Path is an 18-mile long paved path that runs along the shores of Lake Michigan. Downtown Chicago sits at the midpoint of its 18-mile stretch. So to start the journey, all you have to do is get to the Lakefront Path and ride south 9 miles to its terminus. After leaving downtown Chicago, you'll pass by what is referred to as Museum Campus, which is comprised of the Adler Planetarium, the Field Museum, and the Shedd Aquarium. The views of Chicago's skyline are great as you begin the ride south. In my opinion, this is the best view of the best skyline in America. The sights keep coming as you ride past Soldier Field, home of the Chicago Bears. Walter Payton, the most beloved Chicagoan of all time. Once past these sites, the Lakefront Path rolls through park space along the lake. Promontory Point is a man-made peninsula extending out onto Lake Michigan at 55th Street across Lakeshore Drive from the Museum of Science and Industry. Biking around the point is worth the extra pedaling, as you'll be treated to views of the Chicago skyline and out onto Lake Michigan. I'm out on Promontory Point. This ladder behind me is where swimmers get in the water 365 days a year. The Lakefront Path comes to an end as you pass Jackson Park Golf Course and the South Shore Cultural Center. From there, a quick trip down South Shore Drive will take you to the South Lakeshore Drive extension, which runs between 79th Street and Ewing Avenue. I'm on the South Lakeshore Drive extension. It's a desolate stretch of road, built in about 2012 to spur development, and there just has been no development here. This stretch of road was opened in 2013, passing through what was once land occupied by U.S. Steel Southworks site. Remains from the site still exist, despite the factory being shuttered in the early 1990s. Steelworkers Park is one addition to the area. The highlight of the park is a rock climbing wall on one of the massive walls of the old factory. It is also along this section of riding that the Grand Illinois Trail shares the route of the Lake Michigan Circle Tour. This is a 1,000-plus mile tour around the perimeter of Lake Michigan, a journey that I completed in 2020 and highly recommend to any rider. At the end of the South Lakeshore Drive extension, you pass over the Calumet River, and the Chicago Skyway Bridge sits ominously ahead in the distance. This little area of Chicago has a gritty maritime feel, and was the site in 1980 of an epic jump by the Bluesmobile over the 95th Street Bridge. Head down Ewing Avenue under the Chicago Skyway, and you will get to the Burnham Greenway. Once on the Burnham Greenway, you just want to head south to 186th Street in Lansing, Illinois. At one point, the Burnham Greenway ends suddenly, and road riding is necessary, so have a navigation device ready. The bike path just ends on this busy road. At 186th Street in Lansing Woods, you will get on to the meandering Thorn Creek Trail. This 11-mile paved trail takes you out of the way at points. However, it is a smooth ride in a wooded setting, and it's worth the extra pedaling that it entails while taking you directly to the start of the Old Plank Road Trail. I was particularly excited to see 2 detailed signs for the Grand Illinois Trail and how the Thorn Creek Trail and Burnham Greenway were part of the larger tour. So this is the first Grand Illinois Trail sign that I've seen on the entire Grand Illinois Trail. Something that lets riders know that they're actually on part of a larger trail. This is great, and there needs to be dozens more of these throughout the Grand Illinois Trail. Once on the Old Plank Road Trail, you can put the navigation device away and pedal directly west 22 miles along the paved trail through a series of far south side suburbs on your way to Joliet. The Old Plank Road was established in the mid-1800s as a way of taking travelers from the Illinois-Indiana border to Joliet. It would eventually become a train route that was in operation until the 1970s. Today, the bike trail is smooth, shaded, well-marked, and provides plenty of opportunities for food and other places to stop. So I got a flat. I was down to my last bullet. I had to use my patching kits, all my air containers, but I think I got it. The Old Plank Road Trail ends a bit west of downtown Joliet. In order to reach the start of the I&M Canal Trail, you need to pass over the Des Plaines River and navigate southwest for a few miles until the start of the I&M Canal Trail. Of particular interest to me on this day was the Old Joliet Prison, which is now available for self-guided tours. The prison was built in the mid-1800s from limestone in a Gothic Revival style by an architect who used the same material and style in building Joliet Central High School and Chicago's Water Tower. The prison is recognizable from the opening scene of the Blues Brothers when Elwood picks up his brother Jake after a stay within its walls. That's a wrap. Chicago to Joliet. It's about 65 miles. In summary, total mileage between downtown Chicago and downtown Joliet on this route is about 65 miles. While this route was not part of my tour on the Grand Illinois Trail, I would definitely recommend it to anyone considering the tour. The Lakefront Path, Thorn Creek Trail, and the Old Plank Road Trail are all very smooth trails that are well marked and surrounded by natural settings. Additionally, incorporating downtown Chicago into your Grand Illinois Trail tour seems like a must. There are so many things to see and do, and it officially brings you to the eastern edge of the state, from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan. I was also happy to see numerous markings for the Grand Illinois Trail throughout the day. The two detailed signs on the Burnham Greenway and the Thorn Creek Trail were excellent, and I hope that more can eventually be added to the tour. Overall, I think this 65-mile stretch will be one of the highlights of any biker's time on the Grand Illinois Trail. Be sure to check out my full video of the Grand Illinois Trail to learn more about this epic bike tour. Actually, I've got about 35 more miles to go. Now I'm home. 114 miles. It's a good day.